So, second attempt. Welcome to my little downtime vacation stream of the new game, the new early access game, I should say. Tactician Silverware. I'm not sure whether you've heard about this game. I guess if you're into wargaming, you probably have. For example, the historical game or Tortuga Power, they streamed quite a lot of this game already. And now I've been able to get my hands on it, finally, the same day as any other person. And now I will try and stream this game myself. So it's early access, so as you might already know, not feature complete. Performance, especially on the campaign map, is a little bit wacky, I must say. So if you can live with that, I really advise, and you're into war games, I really advise you get this game because it's just marvelous. And by the end of the year, it will be finished completely. So what we're going to do today is that we are going to start a campaign as the Union with the start date of 1862. So the first great feature when you start a campaign in this game is that you can sort of do a little bit of alternative history, especially if you start in 1861. You can, for example, disable the Underground Railroad, so the South will have more slaves available, so their production is going to be higher, but in exchange for that you can, for example, support abolitionism, so that southern sympathies in your northern states will be reduced, or you can enable the breadbasket policy, so you are going to export more food to rival the export of cotton, and your relationship to the European powers will improve. But as it's 1862, I'm not really sure how this will work. I'm going to just leave the historic policies on. You can of course randomize them. Never done that before. I've actually never played the Union in 1862. I've played the Confederacy because it's a little bit more challenging, because your economy, of course, isn't really as strong. I'm going to increase aggressiveness because I've been experiencing that, especially if you play the Confederacy, the Union plays a little defensively if you don't increase their aggressiveness. I'm not sure about the Confederacy, but let's see. Nice little thing here. If you switch through the years, the flag of the Confederacy actually changes, and so does the flag of the United States. So you have a Bonnie Blue flag changing to the flag. I'm not sure how it's called. And then you have like the Confederate battle flag with the white background. So we are starting on March 4th this year, and we're starting at the start of the spring campaign. So Grant already captured Fort Henry and Fort Donelson, so not Fort Donelson and Fort Donelson. So we are just before the Battle of Shiloh, if I'm not confusing anything. I'm not an expert on American Civil War history. I've been reading a few books before this game came out, mostly Mr. Lincoln's Army by Bruce Catton, I think. Like the dated book, but it's a great introduction into the Union Army up until the Battle of Antietam or Sharpsburg, depending on where you're from, and the American Civil War by John Keegan, which was a great historian, really great military historian. Although this American Civil War book is not his greatest work. Some of the claims I think are debatable, but as I said, not an expert, so I'm going to trust his word on the first occasion. Okay, so let's just start the campaign, and we'll watch the little video they put before each chapter. it's quite nice. A little cheesy maybe sometimes, but the reenactment scenes are quite great. Ah yes, so see that the loading screens use colored imagery, which I like. Especially it's well colored. This is one of the more acceptable, agreeable pictures. There are many pictures you might know, especially like those of black soldiers collecting skeletons and corpses. Yeah. So let me repeat. This game is not too stable yet. You have crashes, some bugs, most of which you can actually fix by just restarting the game. But the video is about to start, so I'm going to shut up now.
Secession, once taken, can never be recalled. We and our posterity shall see our lovely South desolated by the demon of war. Alexander Stephens, Vice President of the Confederate States of America. Chapter 2. The Demon of War. The election of Abraham Lincoln, an anti-slavery Republican, as the 16th President of the United States was the last straw, triggering secession. One by one, Southern slave states declared secession from the Union and formed the Confederate States of America, led by President Jefferson Davis. This secession ignited the inevitable escalation, with fruitless efforts to still find a political compromise falling on deaf ears. Advocates of armed insurrection and fire eaters roam the states with steel in their eyes, and the public is aroused to volunteer, to fill the ranks, to quell the rebellion, and to preserve the Union or to secure independence from it. Following open hostilities, President Lincoln's militia call for 75,000 volunteers for 3 months' service, sparks incredulous protest and loud outcry among the southern states. And these sparks set on fire the irreversible. More states secede. Now it's war. 75,000, 100,000, and even more. Soon, the largest armies seen on American soil muster, drill, and prepare for war. A war that is to be neat, short, and limited. The whole matter would be settled by Christmas. But a dark shadow would loom over the growing and inexperienced armies. Without a swift and decisive blow from the very offset of the war, there's every chance of a long, confused, and disorganizing civil war, and even foreign powers may feel a desire to take a hand therein. The time is ticking for the newborn Confederacy. The Union must act. The demon of war has awakened.
Alright, here we are. So the game features a really neat little tutorial where you can read almost any topic. Some of them are not too easy to understand, and it's it's not really explaining 100%. So sometimes, and I'm pretty sure we'll see that armies suffer from attrition or don't recover morale, and I don't really know why. But okay, here we go. So whenever something great or rather terrible for us happens, we get this those little messages, those little illustrated Grand Herald newspapers. Of course, that is a little outdated because in 1862 the Civil War was going for quite a while, and so as you can see, performance frame rate not awesome. But it's not entirely dependent on my computer. Most of it is actually the game not being that polished because it's been available to everyone for only 3 days and it's in early access. So, what do we have here? So, in the east, along Washington DC, we've got the Army of the Potomac, which is headquartered here under Little Mac, George McClellan. Great army administrator, mediocre tactician, or rather a little bit overly cautious. Most historians agree on that. And the great thing about this game, one of the many great things, is that you can design the army according to your choices. So, as you can see, we have the OOB here, so the order of battle. McClellan, of course, in general command, and then you have the different corps. Irvin McDowell, Edwin Sumner, Heinzelmann, German actually, or German descent at least. General Keyes, and then you have several like an artillery division, so like army artillery, 2 brigades which are directly attached to the army, and the cavalry division under George St. Cook. So the historic thing to do with this army would of course be starting the Peninsular campaign, so landing here and marching on Richmond. But as you can see, the Department of Virginia, like 4,500 men, are already being attacked by the Army of the Peninsula, which I know is under the command of Magruder, who is a better commander than General Wool. So what I want to do is definitely evacuate this army if I can, because those 4,500 men are more useful literally anywhere else. So I'm going to move them over to Fort McHenry, put them there. Don't want them to die at the hands of more than 15,000 Dixie boys. So the Army of Virginia is apparently engaging Fort Stanton and Fort Washington, which is interesting, to say the least. So we can see 3 different corps of the Army of Virginia. We can see the army itself at around 60,000 men, so it has some corps attached. We can see General Jackson, so Stonewall's corps is in the Shenandoah Valley at Winchester, in what would today be West Virginia, I think. Opposed by 2 of our corps with only 7,000 men, so not too much of a risk. And we have Hill's corps in reserve, of which we only know that it is about 9,800, about 10,000 men in strength. So what we want to do is do what has been done historically and try to hunt Stonewall Jackson and hope we are going to be more successful than he is, than Banks and Heinzelmann were. Concerning the Army of Virginia under General Beauregard, I think we will want to engage them as well with my entire forces over here. So General Keyes moving up using the railroad, General Sumner moving up with his corps of 20,000 men, McClellan of course moving up, and the first corps under General McDowell is going to wait because I don't want him to engage too early. Okay, so the orders are given. Over in the west, not west enough apparently, over here, the Confederacy has suffered quite a significant defeat when losing Forts Henry and Donelson. So here's Fort Donelson. Fort Henry should be somewhere around here as well. I'm a little confused. Okay, so those forts, of course, control the river. American geography, not my strength. I think it's the it should be the Tennessee River. No, that's the Tennessee. It's the Cumberland River. So it's the confluent at the confluence of the Mississippi and the Tennessee and the Cumberland. So basically, any attempt of the Confederacy to use the water lines to dive into my territory is going to be rather useless. They are not going to be able to drive their ships past my forts and cannons, and especially my fleet. What we are going to want to do is use Grant's army of the Tennessee to drive the Confederate forces out of Tennessee. And we will do this by attacking the first corps of the army of the Mississippi over here, which is, if I remember correctly, controlled or commanded by the Episcopalian Bishop Leonidas Pope. So we're going to use the Army of the Ohio and move it forward to attack the third corps, so they will not be able to muster their full strength against my forces attacking them. Yeah. Okay, so concerning the finances, we are leaving that on auto-manage because that's quite good to do. As you can see, we have heavy income sales, taxes and tariffs. Economy in this game is another great thing. So you can see we really don't have too much possibility of action concerning the economy. Those are all state or privately owned businesses which are going to be influenced by our economic policies like industry, diplomacy, and agriculture. So subsidies, which are of course quite important. I have it on auto manage. It's going to change it anyways. And of course, one important part of our subsidies is how many policies we can use. So if we check out our policies, you can see what we can do. So we have the Full Militia Act. So we already have 36 months of contracts for soldiers, which is quite important, as you will see shortly. We have the Confiscation Act, so we can confiscate the any southern property in the north, which is of course great if we want more money. We have industrialization, so we can spend more money on our economy, on our industry, which we are going to intensify even more. And I think we'll hold on the Emancipation Proclamation a little, because the European intervention, the British intervention, is at 40%, which is not too much, and if it goes higher, we can always emancipate the slaves, which will greatly appease those powers. Yeah, so we will see more of this going down the road. So we're going up to 2 times the speed now. And we have those harbors blockaded with our blockading squadron, of course, which we are going to use to engage some southern ships if we see them, but not yet. So apparently the Department of Virginia cannot ship out, which is sad. Apparently Jackson comes for a little been. Not really sure why he would do that. But the 5th Corps, using telegraph connections which you can build, gets its orders really quickly and is about to engage Jackson's corps. Let's see whether we can inflict some damage upon Stonewall's corps. Especially if because we have him in a pincer movement now. My armies are, my corps are for some reason not inclined to move forward. Except with Little Mac himself. Okay, we'll move him forward as well. Not sure what Jackson is intending to do there. As you can see, the 3rd Corps loaded up onto rails, but Jackson went boating on the Potomac. Probably wanting to assist. Yes. So as you can see, the Confederacy is trying to assemble its forces, which would make for its full 60 or 70,000 men arriving. So we're going to see grand battle in the beginning. Fifth Corps, meanwhile, is marching into West Virginia, taking Winchester. Yes, the French invasion of Mexico under Napoleon III. We all know where this went, but this gives the Confederacy the option to assist the French, which of course greatly amused them. Not certain why nobody's engaging yet, but I want all my forces available before I start actually fighting. I'm going to give McClellan a better ambulance corps, so his losses and casualties will be cured quicker. Apparently the army of the peninsula is also arriving, so they really massed all their forces against Alexandria and Washington. I'm not certain why no battle is starting yet, but if we... whoops. No, I don't want to put my forces into any four. And it appears the game has a little problem. Yeah, as you can see, performance not the strongest really. We select the arm of the Potomac and start an assault. Yes. So now we will enter a field battle, hopefully. So as you can see, this picture already a little more grim. Already an ambulance and casualties. This, I suppose, is one of the New York regiments, the Zouaves. Dressing, of course, like the French light infantry from Northern Africa. Okay, here we go. So, not all of the game maps are ready yet, so this battle is going to be fought on the battlefield of Manassas, or Bull Run. So we are going to deploy our forces at the Bull Run, which are here. So at the moment we have only what appears to be the army units of the Army of the Potomac itself available, which is not too much of a problem because I'm rather certain that the rest of the army will be arriving shortly. So if this is our briefing, this is our consolidated report. Okay, apparently only 4,000 men have engaged against 50,000 Confederates. I'm not sure why, but I hope that we will get some reinforcements by the end of the day. Alright, so let's take Little Mac and his Army of the Potomac and find a position where we can stave off the Confederacy for at least a while. And Sudley Springs appears to me like a great position because it's really only assailable by one position over here, one fort. So we'll move the army forward. And see what we can do. Alright, so as you can see, we have McClellan himself over here, and this is his bugle range. So any order given to units within this circle here will be given by bugle. So as you can see, this order will be given rather quickly, and there are no couriers involved. So we have two cavalry brigades over here, the one of Emery and Blake, and we are going to use, oh, okay, no need for scouting. We already see part of the Confederate force over here, which makes it easy to position ourselves accordingly, especially because we have quite a lot of guns, actually, because the artillery division of the Army of the Potomac is also part of the general headquarters, so to speak. So we got 15 10-pounders, 3-inch ordnance rifle, which is great against enemy artillery, and we have some 12-pounder Napoleons, so smoothbore brass cannons, which are, of course, great, especially at short range, with their canister shot. So we are going to put the 1st Brigade under the regular brigade under General Sykes at the fort at Sidley Springs, and we'll hold the other brigade over here in reserve. So not certain whether they might try to turn around here. As you can see, the Confederates have erected some defenses at a peculiar spot, I must say. And now we shall see whether they will act upon us. We will tell our 3-inch ordnance rifles to start counter-battery fire, so they will focus their fire on enemy artillery pieces. Okay, seems to be the Army of Virginia is moving towards the roads and probably towards my position. We are going to tell the brigade of Sykes to the brigade of Sykes to get into a line formation and use the fence for cover, which will of course greatly reduce their casualties. Still no word of more forces arriving, which is terrible. I don't want Little Mac to fight against the entire Confederate army with only a few thousand men. Although the position, of course, is absolutely marvelous, and we can tell those cavalry brigades to dehorse, or dismount rather, which we will do. So we can see those dismounting, and we'll tell them to take cover behind the fences as well. Yeah, if they already closed the fences, it's a little hard to put the forces behind the fences, because they will just turn if you give the movement orders really close to their actual position. So you can see that the 1st Brigade General Mahoon's Brigade is already marching upon Sudley Springs, which is of course not great, especially if we are this outnumbered. We'll pick a fight, and if nobody arrives, we will of course retreat. We'll get a little message over here, a little dispatch. So I'm not too confident that anyone will arrive. Probably because they were involved in a battle and the other corps didn't join, because they were pretty much standing on top of the battle. I'm not sure why this wouldn't work, but we shall see. So now the cavalry is taking up position. The position is fragmented, which will fix itself if they are just standing there. They are behind fence cover, and we should be able to withstand a significant Confederate attack. The Brigade of Sykes, the regular brigade, sorry, is also getting into cover behind fences. So we have quite a significant force defending the ford at Sudley Springs. We'll speed up the game a little. This is just waiting for the enemy to arrive. So, as you can see, we are taking them under quite the artillery fire out of 30 guns. So Mahoon's Brigade probably suffering casualties already. Another feature I really like is the fife and drum brigades are marching. Apparently not if they are too much under fire, which is understandable. Not entirely sure what the Confederate forces try to do here, but probably they want to shift around and attack me from two sides. So the AI in this game is actually not too shabby. You can't really complain. It makes some grave errors, yes, sometimes. But yesterday, for example, I fought a battle. I can actually show you where around the Stone Bridge. With me as the Confederacy holding this side of the river over here with one division, and putting like Ewell's division over here. One division over here, and then the greatest or biggest division of the Army of Virginia under Longstreet over here. And so the Union forces really managed to mount quite the supported attack over the Stone Bridge over here, and actually managed to drive me out of there. But I had my reserve division so far back that they probably didn't see them, and I just moved behind them, and Ewell's division moved behind them too, which took a little, because crossing open terrain takes a long time, and I managed to actually defeat McClellan, suffering about 8,000 casualties or 9,000 casualties, and disabling almost 18,000 Union soldiers, which of course helped my war situation quite significantly. Of course, the Union is always more likely to replace its casualties than you are as the Confederacy. So, not entirely sure what the Union or Confederate forces are doing over here. They are probably capturing the victory points, which is not too great, because many of the outskirt victory points are not available to me, like the Stone Bridge or the Island Fort, which would in many other battles be considered victory points. So I think it's a good idea to tell Blake's brigade over here to try and find where the rest of the army is. Maybe this is all that's there, I'm not sure. Or maybe they are coming from around here. Not sure either. So we're moving them to this little creek, which the Confederate forces of course can cross. And our forces actually can take cover at the creek. So you can see like the rocks and shrubbery are actually great cover. So there's some shelling going on, and now we see that Mahone's already suffering like about 13 casualties. Moving towards Sudley Springs, which is okay by me. Not sure, hoping that they will mount a frontal attack, which will of course result in rather heavy casualties. I think it's quite important that we manage to hold the fort, but also that we have one reserve force that can actually try to prevent any Confederate crossings. We could actually detach some skirmishers from our infantry, but I don't really see why we should, because our position behind the fence is superb, actually, terribly strong. Okay, as you can see, the cavalry brigade apparently hasn't found anything, so we just assume that they will attack frontally. Right into the cavalry and giving them their new orders, and it would be maybe better to position my cavalry force a little more to the left. Well, they have the shorter range. It's always very weird. We could of course tell them to take cover behind the road. It's just confusing. Just one sec. I'm doing my best. Apparently not good enough. So I want them to take cover behind the road, which is of course possible. They will be able to lay down and scatter their formation, so they won't take any casualties from enemy infantry fire, or hardly any casualties from enemy infantry fire. And I want the infantry to move a little bit more to the left, because you can see their firing arc doesn't really focus on the crossing, which is not what we want. Okay, Confederate brigade's messing up. Mahone's brigade taking cover lying down, as well as Blanchard's brigade, which is quite good, only 400 men. So laying down, of course, reduces your rate of fire and reduces your range, but also significantly reduces casualties, adds to your cover. So, are you doing what I suppose you're doing? Yes, fine. So the brigade of General Sykes is taking up position behind the fence. The Confederates don't seem too eager to attack me. I'm certain this doesn't make for the most entertaining content, but don't be mad at me if I tell you, I wouldn't be too unhappy if the Confederacy decided not to mass its forces behind or attack, because of course for some reason or the other only like 1/25 of my army is currently present, which of course doesn't make for great contest with the forces of General Beauregard. If you are suffering from bad quality or whatever, just be sure to drop me a message in the chat. I got a second screen. I can read your messages on it, so maybe I can fix something. Alright. Mahoney, taking it like a man to the chin. Just standing there. But I'm rather certain this will not be necessary forever. The greatest advantage I have, actually, currently, is that my forces are equipped with the Springfield musket. Mostly, yes, the Springfield musket entirely. While I know that many of the Confederate brigades only have what's called mixed muskets. So, basically, from what I understand, that means, yeah, it's like the musket every American farmer, southern farmer, brought to the battle, and so the ranges are so they are not like all of the same quality. They're maybe sometimes a little overused already, and so what I hope is, from what I remember, the mixed muskets got a range of around 300 yards, and my Springfield rifle musket got a range of about 400 yards, which is of course significantly longer. So I'm going to tell all my forces to engage the enemy with fire at the longest possible range. Although I'm not entirely sure, my Maynard carbines only are 300 yards as well. So some of the enemy forces do have Enfields or Springfields, and I'm going to outrange my cavalry. If I see that, I will tell them to lay down. It's of course going to reduce the range only ever so further, but hopefully they will at some point just assault my position. Sykes decided to leave cover, at least visually, but the game still says he's got cover, which is of course the morale of our forces. So, exciting part started. The Army of the Potomac, or at least its pretty much general staff and staff guard, has engaged the Army of Virginia. Important thing, we of course have our consolidated report, which is going to tell us how many of our men are wounded, missing and killed. We are leading quite significantly at the moment, of course, because we have been shelling them all the time. But those numbers here, of course, as you can see, it's always like 5 at the end or 0 at the end. Those are just estimates, depending on how well our reconnaissance or our intelligence rating for commanders. Okay. The Rebs are not afraid to just march to the fort. Of course, their only really option is they are trying or attempting to assault me over here. But of course, this will cause them to suffer quite the casualties, as they are just marching in column formation, and my cavalry with their carbines has great rate of fire, 12 rounds per minute, and rifle muskets has 3 rounds per minute. So those men are just, as did General Buford's men at Gettysburg, going to use their significant advantage rate of fire. So I decided to bring up the infantry brigade as well. Put them over here, trying to give some fire support. The cavalry is my new word. I'm not entirely sure whether there is friendly fire, but from what I see here, I don't from enemies behind actually quite easy to cover and on the artillery side. But I'm not thinking it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, which I deem maintainable, because at nightfall, which is in March, of course, it can be earlier than July, we will be able to withdraw with less on no casualty. So as you can see, Mahomes Brigade already broke. And our man decided just to keep sticking it to him. Okay, the enemy tries to cross the river over here. I will of course not allow. As our reserve is probably not going to be used in a significant counterattack, I'm going to tell them to reinforce our position over here, so that the Confederate forces are not going to be able to cross the river anywhere else. Of course, greatly costing them their unit. Are not really cohesive. They are not going to be able to return fire significantly. As you can see, Sully's apparently switches out the ship quite a lot. You have chosen the most dumbest route possible to achieve your position. So don't ride through the entire battle. Brigade. So this is the guy that, or one of the guys that led the charge into well, he was one of the brigade commanders who charged on the Battle of Gettysburg and was actually killed, or rather mortally wounded. The enemy has decided to engage in probably already here by the rebel yell, but of course fire from brigades, Pickett's brigade, of course, Pickett will be commander of the division, one of the divisions of Pickett's charge. He apparently just decided he doesn't want anymore. Rather surprised I haven't seen any attempts of the Confederacy to flank me or try to go like around this way. It would be viable option as well. Yeah, we upgraded the AI. It's looking not too great now. Of course, as you can see, the subtle fort is just a slaughter right now. The enemy is just we can take a look at our force. So there's been an update to the game like yesterday, and the briefing or the morning report was like behind the consolidated. No, the consolidated report was behind the briefing, and now they changed it, and now I'm always confused. So apparently they've already lost 2,500 men, while we haven't even lost 100 yet. Knowing what I know about the Beauregard, I'm rather certain that it wouldn't have been his style leading this battle against such a superior opponent. So our cavalry is going up behind. Easy. Which is great, of course, because maybe you want like cavalry is mounted. Trying to hold off this want is support. And my cavalry really wants to chase. Okay, now the infantry brigade is taking really long time. From over the river. So this is already considered a minor victory, which is a combination of the victory point duration and strength. So this has like 3 points, and the other like this has 1 point, and the unfinished railroad has 10, and casualties. We already broke like 3 or 4 brigades. Quite significant feat for my force. Fall back a little, get the cover again. Not entirely sure what General is doing. I'm going to take him off initiative, so he's not going to be able to take independent command. Which is great if you have like really great leaders and with really strong initiative. Those still count as broken, so I don't really have to care about them that much. Yeah, the regular brigade doesn't fucking size. Saw that General Emery is low on ammunition. So maybe this is the time where we should like pack up what we got and retreat. Not entirely sure whether we can that easily, but we can of course try and create another position behind this little part of the Potomac, or I guess it's the Potomac. So maybe we should do that. We move back one of my batteries and one of our cavalry forces, which we of course tell to mount. Maybe like the infantry brigade as well. General Emery, or Colonel Emery, I'm entirely sure. Lieutenant Emery. Okay, might be a bug. I'm not sure whether a lieutenant will command almost 2,000 men. Just 1 second, please. Sorry, I had to sneeze. So yeah, not going great over here. Pretty sure the regular is fighting with more than should. apparently. Not surprising, and Sykes' entire brigade did surrender. What a bloody idiot. Oh my god. This is like the Leroy Jenkins move. This battle. Lost an entire brigade because the commander said, yeah, well, let's not listen to these orders. Just bloody move in. Okay, Emery now go back as well. Getting the horses. So no reinforcements have been arriving, which is a little concerning or confusing. Let's see whether we'll be able to hold Washington. Yeah, but of course this is supposed to have changed. Yeah. So we lost like almost half of our army, and they lost about 13%. Not great really. Not great. Okay, at least for some reason one of the artillery battalions just broke. Well, okay, they could have just probably been countered by they were going to tell Blake's brigade to dismount again, take like a flanking position behind this creek where they will find cover. Still have a few guns over there. The General Colonel Emery, Lieutenant Emery. I'm sure this is supposed to be Lieutenant, but I can't believe that a cavalry brigade would be commanded by a mere lieutenant. Okay, Woodbury. Apparently, the artillery loses many of its guns. Okay, for some reason we have been defeated. I don't see how that happened. There's like 22 minutes of defeat now, where the enemy of course can keep working my forces. I'm not sure why we broke just now, maybe because we lost more than 50% of our force. Is that like a criterion? No, we didn't. We lost most of our guns at the creek. Probably that's like a feature I didn't know about, that we can't bring artillery over the creek. Yeah, major defeat. I can see why. You can really see why. So now oh yeah, of course, I actually forgot that taking this position behind the creek is totally pointless. They can just go around the creek to creek. Okay, so as you can see, we lost 3,000 men. The enemy lost about 8,000. Hopefully more. McClellan's intelligence is really not great. I'm not sure what happens now. Never had that happen before, so that like not even 4% of my army have been engaged. But yeah, I'm really sorry if you didn't enjoy this. Lieutenant Emery, become famous. Yeah, Captain Robertson, who is probably one of my artillerymen, has fallen to disgrace, which will reduce his fame, which will mean that his men are not as likely to be motivated, and his promotion will be faced with a little bit more opposition, so you can't like give a really infamous commander a higher command engage with the rest of my forces. For some reason it says glorious victory. The Army of Virginia retreating in panic. Ah, maybe that was like the fort battle. So the forts around this position here, around Washington, are really strong, and just taking them in a little attempt doesn't work. Okay, we've taken Winchester. So we're taking Banks' Corps. I don't know why they have a why they don't have a picture of Banks. They really should. He was famous enough to deserve his own picture, especially. Okay, the Army of the Potomac, of course, having suffered quite significantly. Okay, the Confederacy tried to capture Fort Morgan. For some reason all the forces of the Army of Virginia shuffle over to West Virginia. So I think rather than marching for the front at the Potomac, Heinzelman should really support there. We're going to move Sumner, this bloody mess of a campaign, in pursuit, as well as McDowell. We don't really have a reserve force now, except for the 4th Corps, which is not in a great position to support any of those pushes. But I think we will move it a little closer to West Virginia. Meanwhile, what is General Grant doing? Nobody knows, because I'm in Kentucky. Ah, there we go. Sorry. Yes, as I said, American geography, not my biggest strength. Okay, so the 1st Corps of Leonidas Polk is almost in range. Actually, probably marching toward my position on Fort Hyman and Donelson. I always thought this was like Fort Henry. Okay, maybe I've been wrong. So, Army of the Tennessee about to engage the 1st Corps. Hopefully this is going to happen before any other battle, so you can see like what a real battle looks like, although of course we will be vastly superior this time. Grant stopped marching for some reason, as well as the Pope. So we're going to tell him to just move on. We're going to send more diplomats, apparently. I wasn't sure. Did I really pick this? Ah, it was probably not finished. So this is, of course, allowing me to import more weapons from England and Austria, Lawrence rifles. And it's going to reduce the British intervention, which, of course, after the great defeat of my forces at Washington, is not as low as it was before. So Army of the Tennessee moving forward. Army of 1st Corps of the Army of Mississippi moving backward. I don't want to tell them to force march because this is really increasing desertion and sickness and so on. Whatever the Army of the Mississippi is doing, I don't know. They might as well try to go upriver towards Fort Henry Donelson. Army of the West. Oh, okay. The Confederacy decided to attack myself or forces in Alabama, which is not great because, from what I remember, yeah, they are quite superior. 2-to-1 advantage for them. Of course, going to play the battle because if I remember correctly, I have the possibility to erect quite significant defenses. And if I remember correctly, Van Dorn's force really suffers from bad supply situation. So ideally, we are going to be able to defend against the enemy force over here. Okay, we don't need the briefing. Okay, their supply situation is outstanding. I'm not really sure where that really is. So this, of course, is fought on the Battle of Pea Ridge battlefield, which gives us really great defensive positions. Okay, we really have really few engineering points, which sucks. So we can't prepare as much in the beginning of the battle, but we can always construct additional defenses. So where do I want my battle line to be? Probably. So I'm rather certain the Confederacy will come from this direction, the direction of bright water over here, and move along the Telegraph Road, and then we'll engage them somewhere around here. The open field high ground seems like the worst possible position for me. It has a lot of fences, but putting my men in the high ground, I'm not entirely sure. If you have any tips, of course, feel free to just chat. Any questions? I've been playing this game for around 10 to 12 hours now, so I know some things, not all things, and I am, of course, greatly willing to accept any meaningful tip or advice, rather. Okay. Wait, does it say Kearney? Ah, no, it's not the General Kearney, who will probably die this year. At least he did in reality, as a cavalry commander during, I don't remember which battle. Okay. So we'll tell our force, maybe open field high ground isn't too bad because of the fences. We can really build a strong position over here, and we have a great position for artillery to just pepper them where they come out of the forest. For that purpose, I would like to build some parapets over here, which I can't. Can I only build them in my... I haven't really understood yet how... Okay, this seems to have worked. But can I build them like here? No, I can't. Well, I can if I move my forces there, so they will construct them. Well, this sucks. I can't really make use of my defensive fortifications if I use this. The open field high ground, of course, gives me a lot, absolute bloody lot of victory points, which is great as well. There's Pratt Store, Leetown Road, Little Mountain, and Round Prairie gives 5. So I have a small cavalry force, which I will probably use to just capture these points. I'm not going to contest them afterwards, but it's probably going to increase my ability to win this battle. So, can I delete this? I want to delete this. I can't. That sucks. Okay, so the new idea then would be just put up a position at the Elkhorn Tavern. Just let them come. Put like a really long parapet or breastwork over here. Build some parapets over here. Can't I? Hello, Mr. Parapet. I would like to build you. Ah, now it works. So we still have to dig them, I think, with our forces. Which should not be a problem. It's going to take quite a lot of time until the forces of the Confederacy are going to be here. So I'm going to put my light artillery, batteries, wired rifles. So this gun is part of the 1st Division's artillery. So I will put the 1st Division right over here. Tell them to construct those breastworks. So the cavalry is going to move this way towards Little Mountain and Bound Prairie. And over here we will construct another set of breastworks. Which will allow ourselves to guard our flank, where we will put the third division. With the Colonel Kearney's gun battery, or gun battalion rather. So we still have the second division, I think. It should be, yes. So, can we really afford to have such a substantial reserve? I think so. I really think so. We really think we should have like a strong reserve force at our back, to just move it wherever we need them. Are you 4th division? Oh, nice. So what we'll do with the 4th division then is build more breastworks, I suppose. You must unselect units and then just go like right click. And I have the feeling you got to angle them for some reason. Just a little silly, I think. But, okay, so we have like our reserve force. We'll put them by the road. Over here where they are a little covered. Not easily to be seen by enemy artillery fire. We still have 4th Division's artillery. This apparently... this is the command, sorry. The guns, of course, we'll put like over here. No. We will put the guns on the hill as well, like our guns, because they would just be able to put devastating fire on the enemy. Yeah, we won't leave the artillery in reserve, so we will tell them to detach, so they won't get the orders of other commanders, of his superior commander. And we still got the 3rd Division's artillery, which should, of course, be where the 3rd Division is. And unlimber. Okay. I moved the cavalry. Because it probably belongs to some division. Yeah, to the 3rd Division. Going to detach them as well. And move them right here. And then just go for it. So, towards Little Mountain and Bound Prairie and take the victory points. As you can hear, the brigades are moving in to construct their breastworks. You can actually skill your forces. I'll show you when it's going to be available. Sorry. And you can like improve their ability to construct defenses, improve their volleys. For cavalry, you can specialize them in like mounted fighting and charging, or maybe you prefer them as like mobile infantry, which I do really. I think the time of cavalry charges is really over. Yeah, so the division of General Davis over here makes great progress in building its fortifications. Nobody's building the parapets, which is not a problem to me, to be honest. I prefer my breastworks a lot. So Conrad's cavalry has received its orders. Moving on to Bound Prairie, taking Little Mountain on the way. Afterward, I will probably send them forward to somewhere around here, just so I know when the enemy will be coming. Going to speed this up quite significantly. Okay, Conrad, great job. Now move here. I really suppose they will come down that road. Otherwise, it's already 2 p.m. in the so 2 in the afternoon. I'm rather certain if they move like through the forest with their entire 70,000 men, they will be exhausted, and it will take probably like until 6, and there will be no battle then, unless they choose to attack the next day, which I really wouldn't advise them to. So Pratt's Store will be the location where my cavalry will stand. So none of the victory points have been colored. So I guess they are indeed taking out their time. They're constructing defenses as well for some reason. So Pratt's Door has been taken. Cavalry is going to dismount. And then I'm going to tell them to get into loose order and take position up behind the road. As you can see, they're loading their carbines. So they are ready when the enemy decides to attack. Okay, now that the parapets, or breastworks rather, are constructed, it's of course important that our enemy actually our forces actually use them. 1,000-man brigades are not really my preferred style. I prefer bigger brigades, of course. Though there is merit to having many small brigades available. Maybe I've been a little too generous with my construction of breastworks. As my brigades are so little, I really don't see how they can hold. Alright, so still no sign of any Confederate force. They haven't even taken this point over here yet, Little Sugar Creek. Don't get why they wouldn't. Probably because they are still organizing back there. Maybe they are scared of my impregnable fortifications. Would you mind taking up your position? Okay, still no Confederate force. I remember attacking over here, having great morale issues, and it was the first battle for most of the men. And I had like 2 divisions, one division with actually significant brigades. And artillery and cavalry support, and another division which consisted of like 8 or 9 300-man brigades. And I'm really scared because they have taken the Little Sugar Creek Road, which of course is not where I want them to come from. So I will tell my cavalry to move, and just for safety I'm going to tell my forces to build some breastworks over the little mountain. If they are going to be engaged, I'm just going to deploy skirmishers and get the hell out of there. Well, I think we still got a lot of time before any substantial force is going to come in. And that, of course, gives us the possibility to take up an even better position over here. Mike, if that's my cavalry, okay, thanks for the heart attack, guys. I'm going to move through the Bentonville detour. A little confused. Didn't it say AB? Because I'm pretty sure that Bentonville, for some reason, I know that Bentonville is in Arkansas. Yeah, I'm something of a geographer myself. Fayetteville, is that in Arkansas too? I'm pretty sure. So please, guys, don't smack me over my defective knowledge of American geography. Not the greatest skill of mine. It's a lot harder than German geography. Germany, you have like the north, flat, and with the federal state, no Anglo-Saxon can properly pronounce, like Schleswig-Holstein. Go try it. And in the south, like where I live now, in Bavaria, a lot of mountains, beautiful mountains actually. People speaking weirdly, weird dialect. And in America, you have too much geography for my little European mind. Confederacy still not coming in. You guys just stopped for some reason. Okay, that's fine. I'm going to distribute more breastworks wherever I can. Just put it like around here so we can take advantage of the hill a little at least. Maybe that's too far forward. Doesn't matter. Can I delete this actually? Oh, I can't. Nice. So we are going to... No. Damn it. Sorry for that. We're going to move it a little more backwards so we have more of the hill. Oops. No. Okay, now let's get a move on. Those are already done? Or why can't I? Now I can. Okay, now there's something coming down Little Sugar Creek, which is fine. I'm just going to finish preparing those positions. I mean, if I see the enemy over here, if I see this changing to red, and this is one of the great features of this game. So the Major Conrad just decided, oh well, maybe it's a bad idea sitting on our horses when cover is available. I am not in range of any commander, so I'm just going to do my own stuff. I'm telling my men to dehorse, or dismount rather. Or did I say that? Maybe I ordered it. I'm not sure. But now he's taking up cover and putting himself so nobody can really flank him if they're coming from the south, which they will, I'm rather certain. So, forces over here finished constructing parapets, moving them back. So, as you might know, if you're an American, and probably you know more about the Civil War than I do, the American Civil War was the first real war where the spade, at least in the later phase, became as important as the gun. So digging in and building fortified positions is really, or was really where it was at, especially in the end, at the siege of Petersburg, which became quite the horrid stalemate, with many new like sapping techniques and so on and so forth being employed. So yeah, it's like a bad foreshadowing of what the First World War would become. Oh, sorry. Okay. Had to sneeze again, sorry. Okay, still nothing happening. already 6 in the afternoon and the end of the day. So our forces have been resupplied, and the enemy will be probably be able to deploy much more forward. Not being sure where he's sitting, and our deployment, because we captured those points, our deployment area is moved way forward as well. I'm putting my cavalry here. Yeah, there's a good spot, Pratt Store. Those guys still have to finish those breastworks. Did I build those the wrong way around? Is that possible? Well, if it is, that's not great. I really want to try and build some parapets, but I'm not really sure how it's supposed to work, or whether it's actually already implemented. I think I've seen a pretty early video where it was possible to build those. Maybe they are fixing something with it or whatever. So building those like over here. Ah, now it works. Great. So let's build those. Being not really sure what else to do. Maybe my cavalry. Yeah, my cavalry should probably rather be at the flank over here, so they can actually stop the enemy when they come around the little town road, Lee Town Road. Can they build the fortifications? Hello? No, you can't. Okay. Okay, so if it's now, I can only dig parapets like, damn it, in the early phase, in the deployment phase. What am I doing? Okay, so enough. Yeah, they are exhausted, of course, from building. Ah, so that's not like... Oh. I always thought like a parapet was an obstacle, but this seems more like a trench. Ah, okay. Maybe that would have been better, but okay, breastworks. Good enough. Good enough, I hope. Okay, so let's bring those brigades actually. Bring them back. Wow, anticlimactic battle. Especially if the enemy just decides not to show up. Oh, that would have been so useful. Yeah, no need to build them then. Can I destroy them? No, because now it's obviously going to give the enemy some cover. So I'm going to put the brigade in there. Worst possible spot. Okay, I've learned something. Would have been useful in the last battle actually. You know what? Before I sit here for about an hour and nothing really happens, you guys get on your horses. Ooh! Enemy! Enemy, enemy. Where is it? Of course, it's around there. Yeah. I really built these troops like a proper... these fortifications like a proper idiot. Now that I come to think of it. And my cavalry apparently wants to die. Hello? Yeah, of course. I mean, here you can see the weakness of the initiative system. Mostly that it's not yet fully implemented, apparently, because this would not have been the usual course of action that a cavalry commander would take. So Major Conrad did he take one of the horses? Apparently not. Now he's engaging in control. Let's dismount. Okay, what I'm going to do now is build another line of defenses. Maybe I should have done that earlier. So build like another line that goes this way and this way. Using parts of the fence. And just get the hell on there. So you can hear? These orders are given by bugle. Get them on the horses. The order is already there. You build those parapets. So I want to build like a line that will cover this little forced road over here. I'm going to tell all my forces to just rush there. Try to get as much of it as built as possible, as soon as possible. Not really sure what the order is, actually. Whether they maybe added the interception game and they intercepted my orders, which was possible, for example, in Scourge of War, but isn't here for some reason. But yeah. Okay, apparently he broke. Yeah, he just ran after losing half his men, so I can't really blame him. I mean, except for his stupid action, just rushing forward. Can I put? Yeah, I could put my guns behind those breastworks, which I will happily do. Can't use them. Can't put them parapets, can I? Okay, how about my reserve force? Second division. Is it? It's not the reserve, is it? Oh, it apparently is. Okay, so move it like over here. Okay, so now at least we know where they are, or where they will be coming from. And maybe Conrad is even going to rally his force. There's the rally command, not really sure whether it does what I think it does. Probably not. Increase morale. Okay, so we're going to tell this division to take position over here. And then the division of General Carr to take these positions over here. And on the fence. On the little parapet fence over there. We still have white over here. Probably good to just put him there. Alright. Mr. Van Dorn, would you like to approach? I'm ready for you. Oh wow, he actually did rally. Nah, no, it still says broken. I can't command him. So how about the 2nd division? I really would like to see the OOB. 2nd division. Ah, of course, it's the cavalry brigade. That's why they only have one infantry brigade. Okay, apparently I've been going too fast for quite a long while, and they are switching over here again. I don't care where they attack, as long as they start attacking and soon. Start attacking and soon. First brigade broke. Why? Oh, that must be... Oh, that's probably a bug. I can't give them orders now, so there's like 10% of my force just gone. Ah, oh, come on. Maybe they were too exhausted from the, all those parapets and breastworks. Might be. They're nervous. Why would they be? Why does my army just break? Ah, maybe because they have a German commander. Okay, there's the first shots of my artillery. My 6-pounder field guns over here. Okay, no other thing to do than sending my reserve brigade, filling those gaps, waiting for the Confederate forces to attack. So this is Nathan Bedford Forrest. No, I'm pretty sure he's in this army. Could you like get back? to the front line, please. Okay, at least I have a strong front line. Now that the Confederates... I mean, it's fun. They actually didn't need to attack. My army's going to break from itself. This is just ridiculous. I really need those 2 brigades, actually. And with those guys over here so they don't flank me. Put my guns over here. Just going for a walk, apparently. Or didn't the orders come in? Ah, there's the courier. Of course, using roads as long as you can. Okay, at least my artillery is going for an engagement. Sorry, I'm having to position myself a little. Ah, here we go. No, please don't. What's happening? Routed units nearby. No, there are none. Well, I'm probably going to write the developer about this because I'm not entirely sure. Well, it's actually... I mean, of course, there have been in almost every army, almost every battle, almost every war. Yeah, situations where units just run. But this doesn't make any sense, really. I mean, I actually can't do a lot more than retreat. I mean, I had this, yeah, at least it's the same as when I fought this battle as the Confederacy. That those brigades of the, I think it's Price division, were absolute garbage and just demoralized as hell, and after 1 or 2 salvos, the volleys, they just ran. But my men aren't even taking any casualties. They're just going by themselves. Are they not supplying? Was I eager? Was I determined? I'm not sure what the problem is. Okay, now they are almost into firing range. A little scared that his cavalry will outflank me, which is of course not unlikely. You guys finding your fighting spirit again? Anyone? Hello? Unstable. Can use you first. I can't. To give them the sharpshooter perk, and this is just ridiculous. I mean, okay, it's an early access game, but why? Without firing a shot, the major part of my army just went. I'm just going to tell my army to retreat. This is just stupid. Oh, shit. Well, if we retreat in good order, I'm confident that the Confederate army will not be able to pursue us. and sorry for that. That was really anticlimactic. Yeah, nothing to do about that. I really don't know why my army just turned tail, but I didn't want to fight the battle with only 2 brigades on the front line with 3. Was the only person to actually do stuff in this battle. I don't know, but our national morale drops by almost 0.25%. Yeah, great. That's what we need. I'm going to show you what that means in a second, since the game has finished loading. Will be with little consequence, given how retreating in panic. Oh well. Okay. Army of the Virginia is in contact with 5th Corps. Okay. Yeah, slightly superior. But this is the last battle we're going to fight today. And afterward we will just... in case you didn't notice, the game crashed, and as you can see, this button is grayed out, which you can at the moment at least only have like one save game, and you can't reload. You have to continue the game. So yeah, it's gone. It's all gone. All for nothing. I will try whether I find some solution for that, whether they will update it. Yeah, that's just what happens sometimes. Still, I hope you enjoyed the game, although you of course mostly see like crazy messed up battles. This is somewhat worse than the game actually is, so don't think it's this messy. It usually isn't. You can usually play like a campaign, not really from start to finish, but you can fight proper battles. I've had lots of fun battles. Anyways, I guess we are going to call it too close here, and maybe I'll try to replay some of the battles, and then start stream another day, maybe tomorrow, maybe probably not the day after tomorrow, sometime next week then, because I'm on vacation, hiking mountains. Yeah, if you liked it, well, consider leaving a like, consider subscribing. For all those listeners of my podcast, I'm really sorry to that I've been delayed so much. University was a little tough at the moment, especially with all those COVID-related semester issues. Yeah, hardly getting into the campaign without crashing. I really don't have that problem actually. Not sure why that would be. I mean, there's been a bug fix yesterday, I think. But maybe it's because of that. I've had some issues, like some fonts were in a weird position. Yeah, so this week is still a little messy with some papers I have to write. But afterwards, I'm rather certain that I will find time to actually finish the current series on the Armenian genocide. If you're new to the channel, of course, check out the podcast. It's not unlikely that you will watch a game about the American Civil War will care at least to some degree about history. And yeah, if you have any questions or whatever, just leave them in the comments, and I wish you a good day or a good night, and see you next time.